Now, when it comes to Stonehenge, the prehistoric monuments you see all over the world, right? I often associate that with burial grounds or some type of UFO situation, activity, setup, something. You know what I mean? When I look at those. So, I was sitting down and I was like, you know what? Let's dive into the conspiracy theories surrounding Stonehenge. And we're going to do that. All right. So remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's get to it.
One of the standout freakiest things that has ever happened at Stonehenge in the time that I've worked here happened during lockdown, and it was a sighting of a UFO. Now, that is so relevant at the moment with all these balloons being shot down left, right and centre and all this strange stuff going on. But honestly, the UFO that happened here 2 years ago was so juicy and so interesting that the guys who were here and had the footage, they've sat on it and they thought, well, one day I might get some money for that or something like that. So they have sat on it for a long time. So really only the team here have seen it. And a few other exceptions. There's some stills, but this is the story. Okay, so what happened in June 2 years ago, midst of lockdown, about 5 o'clock in the morning, there was a balloon spotted by the two security guards. At least that's what they thought it was, because it was floating without any noise off in the distance, quite low, and it was coming towards Stonehenge. But it was interesting enough for them to both get out their mobile phones and start recording. So we have very steady iPhone footage and some Android footage as well from two different points, which I know well at Stonehenge. And while they're filming, it changes shape. It changes into a sort of, how can I put it, almost looks like a jetpack. Someone in a jetpack, and then it changes shape again, and it becomes more cylindrical with lots of shining triangles coming off of it. I know this makes me sound mad, but trust me, I've seen the footage. I know the footage is there. Really hopeful it's going to get released in the next couple of days, so I'm kind of steal a beat on them. But as they're watching and getting so obviously quite freaked out by it all, it changes shape yet again, and this time it inverts itself. All of this is silent, and all of this is very close to lots of military bases and stuff. And by this time, my dear friends, the security guards, are truly, truly losing it. They can't believe what they're seeing, and, as you would. And the footage is about 3 minutes long or so. And yeah, this thing floats over Stonehenge, does a little maneuver, so to speak, and then drifts off into the distance. It seems to be propelled. It changes direction at least once, and it drifts off towards an army base. Now, one of the reasons why we didn't do much about that for a long time is because we thought it was probably military or something like that, but in the context of what's happening at the moment, interesting stuff. Anyway, have a great day. One of the
Was anybody aware of this? Because this probably was recorded at the beginning of the year, I'm guessing, because of what was going on with the spy balloons and it being shot down and all that kind of stuff, and he kind of mentions it. But first of all, I didn't know they had security guards patrolling Stonehenge like that. I didn't even know. I kind of associate that with like working a graveyard or a cemetery or something like that. It seems a bit weird. I never knew they had security guards, so I learned something there. But normally with situations like this, I'm very, very skeptical. The fact that y'all have or could potentially have footage with everything that's going on and you're holding on to it for $1. Now, don't get me wrong. I know everything, it comes down to $1 or somebody trying to get their hustle on. I respect that. You know what I mean? You gotta take care of your family the best way you know how. So I can't really be mad at that. But it seems rather odd because you could release that footage, go viral, and make tons of money. If you got a channel or something like that, you could post it on your channel. If it's monetized, you can make money on that. You know what I mean? So I don't really understand. It just makes me kind of hesitant when you hear the way they're talking about it. We may put it out. We may not put it out. We may hold on to it. It sounds like they waiting on the highest bidder. And I don't know. Is that how things still work in the world? I remember back in the day they used to, but I'm not sure now if he's going to get a dime off of it by just trying to get people to try to create a bidding war. You know what I mean? Then what he said about it shape shifting, different things that he saw. I would need to see that. You know what I mean? So maybe he will make a good bit of money off of it. I don't know. But let me know if y'all happen to come across it. I may look up Stonehenge UFO video released the beginning of 2023 or something like that. Type that out and see if I get any hits. See what happens.
Imagine a landscape that has witnessed the passage of millennia, where a great Neolithic stone circle has stood, its presence as enduring as the very earth it rests upon. The windswept plains of Wiltshire, England, cradle this site that we now know as Stonehenge. For over 5,000 years, its secrets have remained hidden, waiting for curious souls to unlock its mysteries. At the heart of Stonehenge stands a testament to ancient engineering brilliance, an outer ring of colossal stones, each weighing an astonishing 34 tons. These massive monoliths encircle 5 towering arches, each built from blocks that tip the scales at a staggering 22 tons. The most confounding aspect is that these stones were somehow transported from a distance of 120 miles away. How was this Herculean feat achieved? How could these gargantuan stones be moved across such vast distances in an era without modern technology? The blue stones, known as spotted dolerite, originated from the Preseli Mountains in Wales, a place whose significance would be forever etched in history. The journey from Wales to Salisbury Plain, where Stonehenge stands, was no small undertaking, especially considering the immense size of the stones. The prevailing theory suggests that ancient builders crafted sledges and rollers from tree trunks to transport the blue stones from the Preseli Hills. These were then loaded onto rafts, and a voyage commenced, first along the Welsh coast, then navigating up the River Avon toward their final destination. However, there's a caveat to this ingenious theory. Can you imagine the colossal pressure that 20 tons would exert on wooden rollers? Wood, as sturdy as it is, might buckle under such an immense load.
True.
The monumental effort that went into moving these stones raises a question. What motivated these ancient builders? Why did they invest so much time and energy in transporting these particular stones? Unlike other stone circles around Britain that used locally quarried materials, Stonehenge stands apart as a testament to a mystery deeper than its colossal stones.
Now, I compared this with the pyramids. That's been an enigma, head scratcher for everyone for the longest, right? How did they get all of those huge boulders up that high weight? You know what I mean? And a lot of times, where did it come from? And was it graphite or whatever they said it was made of? They talked about it coming up through different streams, canals, and different stuff like that being brought from somewhere and stuff like that. So when I hear that being spoke about with Stonehenge and those huge stones, I could say, it could be done the same way they did with building the pyramids. We can make that assumption. We still don't know. We're still searching, but we can generally say, okay, it could be similar to that. There's also stories about the Nephilim when it comes to speaking about giants ruling the earth and roaming the earth. And they talked about the Nephilim and them. Could they have possibly moved these stones? There's many different ways, but me personally, when I speak about the pyramids, I'm like, man, I know they had a lot of people. I know it's strength in numbers. I know they could have, but it just seems like a daunting task to be able to move those huge, and we're talking tons of weight, moving them up. You know what I mean? Different pulley systems, or however you could say, and people doing it by hand, makes it strange, hard to believe. So I say that to say, man, I think this is going to be another one of those enigmas where we're searching for how or what the meaning of this was, how it was built, what it was built for. It's something that's going to be enigma for a long time. Who knows? Maybe AI discovers it and figures it out here in the near future. Maybe. I don't know. Let's keep going.
According to ancient lore, Merlin the wizard, a mythical figure prominently featured in the legend of King Arthur, wielded his mystical powers to conjure Stonehenge into existence. Merlin encountered a group of British warriors who had been slaughtered by the Saxons in Ireland, and as a result pledged to create a memorial to those who had died in vain. Merlin is said to have single-handedly transported and arranged the massive stones with his magical abilities and with the help of giants.
So this one has the nerve to combine like multiple different scenarios in it. Giants, burial ground. Two things that I'm like, okay, is it possible? Now we do have, you know, different showings of history where they could have possibly found. I think one giant skeleton could possibly be overseas somewhere in a museum. I forget where they say. I have to look that one up. But I think we do have the bone structure of a giant somewhere overseas in a museum. And then I've always felt like, you know, sometimes you have to go by feeling. That's all you have sometimes. You just have to go by your gut feeling. And sometimes, I don't know, man, just in a lot of things that you look at and you start formulating in your mind through past things you've seen throughout the history of your life. And it just says burial ground. But I would never say to dig that up. I would never say, yo, we should dig that up. No. I just feel like that's so disrespectful and could release a wrath on this planet that we've never seen before. You know what I mean? That, to me, that would be opening Pandora's box without a way to shut it back. So, but I can't help but say that I do get that feeling of burial ground. So when you hear somebody speak of a wizard that created Stonehenge, that part of it to me is the first. Let's keep going.
Our best understanding of Stonehenge is that it's a functioning observatory that can actually predict eclipses. They're lined with the summer solstice. Right. There are holes that are not stones, but they're 56 holes, which is 3 times the Saros, which is the cycle of eclipses, of the matching of the orbits of the sun and the moon in the sky, the paths of the sun and the moon in the sky. And when they match up, you get an eclipse. Our best understanding.
That's the first time I've heard that. Now, that wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't be too far off. You know what I mean? Thinking I've also looked at it as maybe like a sundial system. You know what I mean? To be able to tell you different things. So when you say it could possibly let you know when the next eclipse is, that lends itself more along the lines of that to me. You know? But me and this guy here, you know what I mean, Neil deGrasse Tyson, we don't always, I'm saying we, like me and him have a conversation. I'm just saying I don't always submit to his theories and different things like that, but I do listen and try to see which side of the fence I fall on when it comes to that. So that could be a possibility. I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. Let's keep going.
Stonehenge is one of the most mysterious landmarks in the entire world. It has some weird theories for why it was made, like this. What's really crazy is it's estimated to be even older than the pyramids at 5,000 years old. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories on why and how it was built, including being built for a UFO landing pad. But one of my favorites is a conspiracy theory that started in 1200 AD, that the wizard Merlin magically transported the massive stones from Ireland, where he then had them assembled by giants. Tell me why you think they exist in the comments. Follow for more like this. Stonehenge.
That's interesting how you never hear something your whole life. And within one video, I've heard it twice, almost back to back, about a magician creating something. You know what I mean? Now, I know that's what you get when you start really diving into these conspiracy theories. You'll start, you know what I mean, coming across things that are familiar. But I thought the pyramids were older than that as well. What did he say? 5,000 years ago? I could have swore they said they were older than that. Gotta look that one up too now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, wizard, giants, starting to see a pattern here so far. Just keep going.
Yo, I got another treat for y'all. Let's get it. Who really created Stonehenge? Was it us or was it the aliens? I think it was the aliens. And here's why. Similar to the Moai heads at Easter Island, Stonehenge as well is a prehistoric art. Also similar to the Eastern Island heads, Stonehenge is in amazing shape, and we don't know what either of them represent. Also, there are constant reports of UFO sightings around Stonehenge. It does leave you to wonder what Stonehenge actually represents as far as aliens. Is it a memorial for the alien gods dating back to the prehistoric times when Stonehenge was built? An artist by the name of Eric Von Daniken published a book in 1968 called Chariots of the Gods, Unsolved Mysteries of the Past. And in this book he states that ancient religions and ancient technology was given to us by alien gods. Von Daniken also gives credit to the aliens about the pyramids and Easter Island heads as well. From the unique structure and durability of all three of those prehistoric landmarks, it do leave you to wonder. Von Daniken might be right. From the unique positions of Stonehenge, to the countless things you heard about the pyramids, and the millions of 2.5-ton limestones gathered together to create those
That's what it was, limestones. What I said earlier, graphite, my bad. Limestone.
Pyramids, or from how even the Eastern Island heads are all facing inward of the island. These strange but unique things leave you to wonder. I believe that all three of these prehistoric structures were made by advanced technology, or aliens, or both. Y'all go ahead and let me know what y'all think in the comments. Yo.
So think about that, right? So if they were giving, and he was speaking about different stories that we've already talked about before, the Nephilim and different things like that, the Anunnaki, you know what I mean? Those could have been possibly the ones that gave us this information. They're responsible possibly for everything we know today in technology. They could be responsible for it. So if that's the case, then where we at? Are we progressing forward, or are we stagnant? Or if they had that type of information and technology back then, is the whole notion that we've progressed forward all these years, is that true? Interesting. That would be a question if we were able to communicate and ever, you know what I mean, sit down with aliens and be able to ask questions and stuff like that. I would definitely ask questions about Stonehenge, what that means and all that kind of stuff like that. But I would want to know, you know what I mean, where they think we are as far as progression goes with technology. Are we there, or is this something, because that gap in information from those ancient civilizations as far as what they knew and how they did certain things back then, it's a lot of unknown. So what if what we're doing now, they already knew about? That's where a time machine comes back into play, bro. We need a time machine to be able to go back to those civilizations, those times, and see what they were doing and be able to talk and communicate about, you know what I mean, what they know and different things like that. What if we get back there and find out, man, we've wasted all of this time running around in circles, and we haven't progressed at all? They actually probably look at us, or could potentially look at us like a disappointment. Like, we did all of this and this is all y'all have done? Wow. Just thought. See how my brain thinks though? Moving on.
Spanish Stonehenge. Are you ready for a tale of adventure and discovery? Well, get ready to be amazed, because a drought in Spain's Extremadura region in 2019 led to the discovery of a fascinating ancient site. Known as the Dolmen de Guadalperal, or the Spanish Stonehenge, this submerged wonder dates back 7,000 years and contains 100 monolithic stones, some towering at a height of 6 feet. The building showcases an insane amount of precision, and even reflects whoever built this site had a deep understanding of mathematics and geometry. Why, you ask? It's because the stones are so precisely arranged that they create a series of geometric shapes, including triangles and rectangles. Spanish Stonehenge. I
wonder, that makes me think too, you know what I mean? These were uncovered due to, you know what I mean, a drought or anything or whatever over there. How many more could be underwater possibly or potentially? How many Stonehenges could there be out there? And if there's a lot, then what does that mean? What were they built for? What would that tell us if we start uncovering more and more different ones? That would be interesting then. Because right now, I think we know about most of them. We haven't really discovered any new ones that I could recall. But let's just say the water level starts dropping and we discover a lot more. What would that tell us? That's interesting. Just a thought. See how this stuff sparks thoughts? Let's move on.
Why is America's Stonehenge so controversial? Well, for starters, it seems that no one can agree on who built the site, what the purpose was, and how old it really is. It's a little confusing because genuine ancient Native American artifacts have been found here, but the stone structures themselves seem to be a little bit more modern in design. There's also a structure here called the Sacrificial Altar, which led a QAnon follower to come and vandalize the area recently, claiming that it's actually a portal to hell. So now I wonder, why is America...
I'm never going to be able to erase that out of my brain now. Oh, man, what if... See that, and that would tie it in with the aliens. Maybe that's some kind of way those things align at a certain time of the year and you can travel through some type of portal. We're just probably never there during that time of the year to see it happen. What if it opens up a black hole, which we've discussed before or talked about, and they've made mention of that a black hole could potentially be a portal to another, because we don't know. Everything that goes in it doesn't come out of it. So we don't know if it leads you to another portal. We have not. That's why Neil deGrasse Tyson talked about, he was like, once he gets old and if he's at that point, then he'll go through. He says that's better to him than just being, you know what I mean, sickly or whatever on his deathbed or whatever. He'd rather just go through a black hole and see if he can make it to the other side. I mean, that's his choice. I mean, I'm trying to spend as much time with my family as possible, but he said he would rather go through a black hole. You know what I mean? But what do you think? Could Stonehenge lead us to a portal? Could it be that, to be able to go to maybe a parallel universe? Maybe there's some way to use Stonehenge to travel back in time. Interesting. Moving on.
Today, I'm going to be talking about the strangest theories about Stonehenge. Let's go. So number one is a place for healing, and a theory suggests that Stone Age people saw Stonehenge as a place with healing properties. So the reason that people think this is because two archaeologists in 2008 reported that a large number of skeletons recovered from around Stonehenge showed signs of illness or injury. The archaeologists also reported discovering fragments of the Stonehenge. They had been chipped away by ancient people, perhaps to use for healing purposes. Come back tomorrow for some more theories.
Never thought of that. That could be, oh my gosh, that could change our history. Not our history, that could change the trajectory of our future. What if that is a place of healing? Never once heard anybody say that. If y'all did, y'all been holding out on me, for real. Can't stand y'all. A place of healing. You go there and miraculously you're healed or cured or whatever is ailing you possibly. I wonder why nobody's ever tested that theory. Maybe because it's I don't know. Maybe they have. Maybe they just haven't said anything. That's odd. And all the videos I've looked at and heard about with Stonehenge in them, they've never won. Scientists have never said anything about it could be a potential place of healing. Everything we just heard was burials, stuff like that. Moving on.
Stonehenge isn't what we thought it was. This place is one of the most mysterious prehistoric megalithic sites in the world, and there are many theories as to who built it and why. From what we know, Stonehenge was built between 5,000 and 8,000 years ago, and the alignment of its stones to the summer and winter solstices led experts to believe that it was some kind of ancient calendar. But that may not be the case, after all. With UFO sightings and crop circles happening around the site, along with encounters with the Men in Black, there are some who suggest the idea that the construction of Stonehenge was influenced by aliens and could have been an ancient landing pad for UFOs. And then there's also a legend that states that when the Britons took back control of England from the Saxons, led by Aurelius Ambrosius, and his brother Uther Pendragon, he enlisted the help of Merlin to build a monument to commemorate their victory. Merlin suggested that they go to Ireland, where a great stone circle had been created by giants, which was called the Giants' Dance. And according to the legend, Merlin moved the stones with his magic to the Salisbury Plain, where they became known as Stonehenge. However, a new study suggests that the site was simply a place for healing, ritual, or burial of the Stone Age elite. But what do you think of Stonehenge? Make sure to leave a comment.
I was listening to hear if anybody else would say a place of healing, and he said it. You see my head pop up like that? Because I was waiting for it. You know what I mean? I was looking for that. You know? What do y'all believe, man? We've heard many different conspiracy theories surrounding Stonehenge, whether it could have been a burial ground, whether it could be a place of healing, whether the giants may have put that there. You know? Which one? What do you think when it comes to that? I tell you what, I still do not want them digging it up. Does it have something to do with a portal to a parallel universe or another dimension? What do you think? What have you heard? Provide us the information down there in the comment section and let us know what you think of this. Until the next one, man, I'm gone. Peace.